everybody. I'm so excited to be here. This virtual world has been a whole new thing for me to take on this year, but I have worked hard to come up with ways to get my kids to show up. But I know teachers are struggling even when it is required to try to get kids there. So I'm going to share some ways that might help with that. So this is my first favorite way to get my kids to show up. So the first thing they do when they show up in my class is an attendance engagement question. So these are just some questions I've asked about kids over the course of the first week. I think we've just finished week 6 of school. So I'm actually going to share this with you guys too, so you will get a copy of this. But some of my favorite ones I want to point out is, what would you like to know about me, your teacher? I got such great questions. They were curious about me. They'd never met me in person, just like I'd never met them in person. And so when I got done with that, I made a short video answering all their questions, and I filled the background of my screen up. I used Flipgrid. They have a new feature on there called Video Short, and you can actually just create a recording and share the link with anybody. And this is my short I created for my students, and I just filled up the background of my screen. So I'm going to pause it here because I wanted you to see. This is answering all of their questions. They were asking like, what's my favorite animal, and who's my family, and where did you go to school, and this is my favorite candy. They were curious about that, my color, my music. And so I was able to just pull all these images in behind me and then videotape while I talked about my answers. But then there's also things like, what do you think you might want to do after high school? And those things are helping me to know my students in ways that I can communicate back with them. Way number 1 is be consistent. And one of the ways that I'm consistent is with that engagement question. Consistency of the same thing, but surprise gets them tweaked, which leads me to my second way to get them there is to have surprises. They love it. Like one day I just told them the day before, I said, at 2 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing something exciting. And they're like, what? What's it going to be? Da, 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 da. Like, you'll have to show up at 2 o'clock to see. And guess what? I had the most people there at 2 o'clock than I ever had. And I think the first day it was just something about their math progress on Khan Academy. Like they had this big target contest Khan was doing, and I showed this big swirly side and we woohooed, but it didn't matter. They wanted to see what the exciting thing was. Number 3 is send positive communication home. They want to say, Mrs. Quiff, my dad got the letter you sent. Thank you so much. It meant a lot. And so to get something that your kid gets from school and says, hey, they did a great job today or this week, or they have no late work. Wow, that can just do wonders for that family relationship. Number 4 is to greet everybody. Find a way to greet everybody in this virtual environment. I know it's hard. So what I decided is I've got to greet people, even if it's not me greeting them. It sounds inconsistent. But what happens is if they don't show up at the same time, I'll take somebody in a breakout private room, be helping them on math or whatever, and 3 kids might pop into the Google Meet. And if I don't happen to see when they popped in, I could not notice that there. So I have a designated student each week. That person's job is to watch and greet. Hey, I'm over here in the private room helping, so if anybody comes in. So it is really important to greet. We all want to be greeted. There's one more way that I like to do it, and that is to play a game and schedule time for that. I do. I'll be like, whoever's here at this time, we're playing a game today. We're not doing math, or we're not doing English, or whatever it is we traditionally do at that time. We're going to take 15 to 20 minutes, and it usually turns into a half hour, and we're going to play a game or do something fun together. And I'm collecting ideas for my kids for what those could be. But there are lots and lots of wonderful games you can play. And one of my favorites, I'm going to pull up here and show you, it's called the 5 Clue Challenge. This teacher, Michael Softskill, I think is how you say it, he is amazing. He has traveled a lot, and everywhere he travels, he takes his video camera and he shoots clues in this area where he is. So if he's in Chicago, he might be standing on a boat and the camera will be really focused in, and he'll say, I'm somewhere in North America. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, there's water and he's on a boat and you're getting on a map. And so the kids are supposed to Google things. They're trying to figure this out based on what clues they see. And then the next one, he'll pan a little more out and you might see the Ferris wheel from the boat that's on Navy Pier there. And so he might say, there are so and such many boats that go through the whatever canal on this lake I'm on. And so people start Googling, trying to figure out. And so they try to guess where it is in 5 clues. And by the last one, he's way panned out. You can see the whole city behind him. And he'll say, and this is Navy Pier. Like it's something like you can't miss it if you've been doing a little research. But the kids love to see who can guess it in 1 clue, 2 clues, 3 clues. And it's super fun. Those are my 5 ways that I have found the best ways to get kids to show up